Hey, what's up, guys? I'm building a full custom Pro Touring 57 Studebaker Silver Hawk, and in my spare time from doing that thing, I've got its brother car. It's a 62 Studebaker GT Hawk, and I found some really nice 20x9 20-inch steely wheels I wanted to run, but the offset was wrong to fit the car, and I've been kind of wanting to do a disc brake conversion anyway on this thing, but I thought, why not put in a good old trusty 9-inch forward rear end in it? So I had a lot of comments and messages asking me how I did this on the Studebaker Hawk. The platform's like 53 to 64, so it covers a whole range of the Hawk cars. So I'm just gonna run through real quick how I did this and some things you might run into and how easy it is actually. It's real simple. So your stock Hawk rear end is a 58-inch flange to flange. So if you wanna go the simple route, you can buy a 9-inch forward center section in a center section in the housing that's based on 58-inch width, which is the same as like a G-body width-wise. I opted to go to a 56-inch housing so I could run an inch deeper wheel on each side. But in the realm of putting this thing in, it's one of the simplest 9-inch Ford swaps I've ever done. Your Studebaker factory leaf spring pads are on a 41-inch center. Obviously measure yours to double check that, but all I had to do was to set this rear end up was I set the pinion to 0, I put the pads at 41 inches on center, centered on the housing ends. Everything's centered on the Studebaker. It makes it really easy to do. You don't have to worry about trying to do the math on offsetting an inch or anything. Some of the easy things about this thing too was the stick out on the 9-inch Ford was actually a 1/2 inch shorter than what the old Dana was in it. So the drive shaft just had to come out of the transmission a 1/2 inch. And the huge one was a 1310 on the rear end center, as well as what Studebaker used from the factory. So nothing for drive shaft wise. You just bolt it in, you're done. Once you got your pads welded on, you got your rear end in place, you know, so your drive shaft's already taken care of. That's not a big deal. And then even your, if you get on Speedway Motors website, I'm gonna give you guys some part numbers in the description here, that you buy the shock mount kit for your leaf spring holders, and it puts them right back in the same place the Studebaker shocks were. So shocks taken care of, pads done, drive shaft done. It's super simple. Probably the most tedious part of this entire swap is the brakes. I put metric parking brake style calipers on, and those things have got their own nuances as far as getting them bled right and getting them adjusted correctly. But that's about really all there was to putting this 9-inch Ford in a Studebaker Hawk. Even your side to side on the 9-inch, I forgot to mention that, was within like 3/8 of an inch of the same place. So it's nearly a bolt-in solution. If you just know how to run a welder and weld your pads on here, they do make clamp-on pads too. If a guy wanted to go that route, you can make it even easier and do it as a no-weld solution. So if you do put disc brakes in rear, remember you put a 2-inch residual valve in your lines. And I also put a 2-pot master cylinder on this thing, and I'll run another video on that later on all the mods it took to get that to put in the car and replace the old 1-pot master, just for safety reasons mostly. But well, that's about all there was for putting a 9-inch Ford in a Studebaker Hawk. Hit me with comments, questions, whatever you got, and I'll be more than happy to answer whatever you got there. And like I said, I'll put the part numbers from Speedway Motors. You can buy everything you need there, complete rear end, whatever you want, and get your project rolling this winter.